So today I want to showcase a Granvir build that does not use the Mercenary starting class. Usually the Mercenary is kind of the class you gravitate towards because it's the only one with starting loadouts. But from Campaign 3 onwards, every class has a starting loadout, and the Engineer starts off with some pretty interesting parts. So we're going to go to Extreme Difficulty, and we're going to pick Welter Legs, Bondi Torso, Swift Strike, which is a tier 2 generator. Not a lot of characters start with those. I don't think anyone except for the Engineer does. For the fun factor, we're going to take a hand axe, we're going to take a side story, and then we're going to take the circuit. You have to make sure to click on this one, and then this leaves us with a cabler or a pile bunker. We're going to take the cabler, and we're going to take a heat sink because we already have enough cooling speed. And then from there, we only need medium ammo, field stint. So these legs give us 100 more cooling rate, and they only take 50 heat to dash. They're a little bit slow, but very efficient. This torso, that just gives us more armor than the alternative, and it has better things you can upgrade it into, so we take that one. The Swift Strike gives us all of the cooling rate we could really need, and we almost have 150 heat capacity, which is kind of a good benchmark because if you pick up legs that cost 75 to dodge, you need that much to dodge twice. And between that and the cooling rate we have on these 50 cost legs, we should be able to dodge 4 times. Next, we're going to put the circuit on here, the cabler on the other side, the axe goes in the circuit hand, and then the gun goes in the cabler hand. If you want to run this with 2 guns, those are the only weapons you can start off with that are small enough to keep your wrist-mounted weaponry unobstructed. But the throwing axe can be thrown, and that frees up your wrist. Lastly, we put this heat sink on to kind of round out our cooldown stats. It gives us a little bit more capacity so we can dodge all that we want. So if you've never used the cabler, basically you kind of just cable to the floor and then jump, and you have crazy mobility. So right off the bat, this is a pretty good build. This is a pretty good character. After that, we have this throwing axe. If I throw it normally, it does like 13k damage, but if I throw it like that, it does 2k damage because you're adding your velocity to the axe. It's not really a physics thing, it's just a bonus, but that's pretty nice. If you want to swing the axe while you're cabling, you can't have these sideways swings equipped. You gotta press C to change your attack style, and it'll do these overhead chops. I don't think they really have more DPS, but if you have 2 axes, you can swing both of them at once that way, or if you're using a cabler, it'll let you swing like this. Another part to look out for, if you can get the sumo torso, which matches the welter legs that I have on, it'll let you just crash into stuff like a wrecking ball. But that's about that for the base melee options. I'll have to take this out of my hand because I can't get rid of it in training mode, it just reappears. But next we have the shock cord. This thing is crazy stupid easy mode for like the first half of the campaign. It does generate a lot of heat, but we have a crazy cooldown stat, and we can dodge 1, 2, 3, 4 times and still have a little bit of juice left to pop the cabler, which, as you can see, doesn't care if you go beyond your max capacity. You can just keep on trucking, and then all that really matters is like having a good cooldown stat if you want to use it as often as possible. You can just pop this and start spamming with your pistol. The real weakness is that if you have to reload this pistol, I can't use my cabler right now. I can't even interrupt the reload if I want to. But you got this cord, you got this cord. Sometimes this cord will bug out and it just gets stuck on the floor until you overheat. Genuinely, I'm not really sure how I did that just now, but it's a very cool build. You got your 2 little cables, you got your gun, you got optionally another gun or just a hand axe. very modular, and you don't even have to modify your character to like pick up another gun you find or pick up another hand axe you find. Very, very fun build. This is sort of your short-term holy grail, where you start off with the tier 2 cabler and the sumo torso, which overall I think is very aesthetic, but you can just crash into people with this torso and do like 1k damage. And it's great for just bouncing them away from your axe and picking it back up again. And although there aren't any weapons on this build right now, you have hands. And hands mean you can pick up weapons in the middle of a level, and that saves you from having to go into the modification menu between levels, which burns the hours resource that you can put towards, you know, other tasks. Without further ado, I think I'm just going to get into the level so I can show you how this works on some enemies. So if you ever want to use the cabler and your axe is just in the way, you can just throw your axe on the floor. It would be a little nicer to, you know, have a holster on your back, but you can get rid of it that way. I would also recommend going into your controls and setting the axe button to whatever your circuit button is. Because, you know, you can't use the circuit and throw the axe at the same time anyways, so it saves you a little keyboard real estate. So I missed my axe, but you know, I can just zap this guy through his shield, and I don't have to burn money and resources, you know, getting rid of that. Tanks, on the other hand, this guy's a menace. You can cable over to him, and sometimes it runs him over real conveniently like that, but other times you just like skip off the front of him like a ramp. I almost kind of wish it went wrong, just so I could show you. The axe will just insta-give people though. You take your freebie, you take your zap kill, and then, you know, if I wasn't reloading, I could have cabled out of there. See, so our dodges are basically like the bare minimum for dodging regular enemies. We do have to watch out for that axe falling into buildings though. It'll probably happen. It's just a little tier 1 axe, so if you lose it, it's really not even a big deal. But that thing can fall right through geometry. Almost dashed into that explosion. If you ever need to cancel the cabler, all you gotta do is click the button again. And yeah, you can see how this is like a very fun, unique build. And if I get swarmed by 2 enemies at once, you know, I'm out of there. I'm out of there, I get my heat back, I get my cable back. And eventually I get my axe back. I definitely think 2 pistols is kind of the better choice if you're not, you know, so afraid of spending a little ammo. But in the early game the axe is really nice because it usually one-hits people and you get it back after 1 or 2 more kills, worst case scenario. In the long term, honestly, even like double cablers is probably better than running the shock cord. But you know, the shock cord's fun. Oh wow, killed that guy right through his shield. And it looks like we're all done. If there were another ammo, or if there were another medium ammo weapon, you know, we could load this ammo into that weapon and we would be able to carry that weapon out for free. And that's what's really nice about having hands, is like you can carry free stuff out of levels by just shoving medium ammo into it. You can, like, if you have a two-handed rifle, it'll normally take up both your hands, but if you move it into one of these slots, you get a net gain of 1 cargo space as well. So, uh, at high difficulty, when you're playing by yourself, it is really nice to have 2 arms.